Unpopular opinion. If you're new to entrepreneurship, you should not pay for ads. And yes, this is a hill I am willing to die on, so if you feel a different way, go ahead and put it in the comments below. Okay, but before you do, go ahead and watch this video, because I'm going to explain why I really feel this way, and hell, your opinion might change by the end of this as well. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with the main reason. Is typically when you get into entrepreneurship, you have to start to refine your sales skills. The only real way to get better at anything is by doing the reps, right? Doing the rehearsal, doing the practice, out there actually making these sales calls or whatever the case may be. Now, obviously, before you guys jump in there, I understand there's a difference between marketing and paying for ads and a difference between sales, like how do you actually convert on the call? However, when we look at it holistically, we have marketing that leads directly into sales, so they have much more in common than you might think. When we're actually doing our marketing piece, well, now this is working on our ability to sell with however we're writing or we're advertising or we're painting this image of our product or service. The marketing gurus call this copy, right? Or copyright. Essentially, how well can you write this script that'll get people to click on the button or do whatever the action is that you want them to do. And to be quite honest, who knows your company better than you do, especially in the beginning? I mean, yeah, you can go out to a marketing agency and have them help design these ads. You could try to make ads on Facebook or Yelp or Zillow, which is a really popular one, and all of these other things, but you're basically just copying somebody else's program or metric. You haven't really found out what works for you, and finding what works for you is half the battle and hell, half the fun, to be honest. And in that journey of trying to find the right thing, this actually starts way in the beginning. Now, you might have done this, but has there been somebody that you know who started a company, right? Or wanted to start a company, and they spent a lot of time and money on designing the right name, the logo, the website, business cards, gifts, or whatever else before they ever even sold a product or their service? This is an absolute no-no when it comes to business and entrepreneurship, because we actually need what's called proof of concept. Now, proof of concept simply means, hey, look, I have this product or service, I have made it or created and have sold it and have received valuable feedback saying that this is needed or desired. And as with anything when it comes to collecting data, the more inputs we have, the better. So if you only sell one product, that's not really proof of concept. You want to try it and test it out. And during this time, you're trying to identify your target market, right? And who your perfect ideal client would be as well. And we all have good ideas about who we want to market to. And you know, my ideal avatar or client avatar is this person. Male or female between the ages of 25 and 39, make this much income, so forth and so on. And that's great when it comes to market research. However, oftentimes when we come up with these grand ideas in our head, it doesn't mean that our ideas are what the world wants. So by us going through this proof of concept process, we get to test it out. We get to try it with different people, and then we let the world tell us what community is a best fit for our product. And just by doing those two things, really establishing a proof of concept and really working on refining our copy, our sales skills, how we advertise our own company, what we inadvertently do is also save a ton of money by finding what's efficient from the beginning. Just like that same scenario we talked about where somebody goes out and they buy business cards, website, this, that, and the third. They may drop hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars before they ever produced a penny of income. Now, my personal philosophy on business is we always lead with revenue, meaning we have to have revenue coming in prior to us spending. Now, not in all cases, sometimes spending something is required. Oftentimes when we're doing direct mail, that may be an expense that may be required, but I can make a fair argument to say that there are other marketing avenues besides direct mail that'll yield some of the same results, if not better, and cost a fraction of the direct mail costs. But this video isn't about that. If that's something that interests you though, let me know in the comments below and I'll show you my little secret sauce for lead generation, which kind of plays into the next reason anyway, which is the simple fact that warm converts better than cold. So what do we mean by that? When we're talking about a cold lead, this is somebody who doesn't know you from Tom, Dick, or Harry. This person probably found you on some sort of advertisement. Maybe it was on Instagram, or maybe it was on Facebook or Google, whatever the case is. The algorithm thought that you would be a good person to see this sort of advertisement. but more than likely you're not going to press it, or you may press it, but it's not going to convert you because you don't know this individual. You don't know how creditworthy they are. And this is the same thing that happens when you send out direct mail. These individuals don't know who you are, and they may get multiple offers from multiple people. So how do you stand out? So if that's the case, even with targeted marketing like direct mail, why would you pay for advertisements to stick out in the crowd when you have no track record? You have no credibility, you don't have any reviews, people don't know who you are. And you know, Grant Cardone says this, if they don't know you, they won't flow you. Basically meaning if they don't know who the hell you are, they're not gonna pay you money to do something for them. And this is reflected when we look at overall averages of cold conversion rates. And by conversion rate, we're meaning from the time that we reach out to them and they respond all the way to us closing a deal with them and us actually making some money. So on average, cold conversion rates are somewhere between 1 and 3%. So this means if you actually talk to 100 people, then you may actually get 1 to 3 deals closed and funded, which is commonly referred to as the numbers game when it comes to sales. It's like, hey, look, no love lost. Let me just make as many calls as I can because I know I'm going to convert 1 to 3%. But warm leads actually convert from 14 to 16%. So this means if you're talking to the same 100 people, but they actually know you, they're actually comfortable and warm with who you are, your product, your service, instead of selling 1 to 3, you could sell 14 to 16 that actually close the deal and fund you. So let's put that into real numbers on paper here so we can start to conceptualize it here. Let's say on the high end, we actually convert 3% on our cold call list. So we got 100 people, we're gonna close 3 people, and let's just say that our average deal size is $10,000 a piece. So on our cold calling list, we're actually gonna make $30,000, which isn't bad. But now let's take that same list, but we'll move it over to the warm side and we close 14 deals, right? So we're gonna go on the low side here. We close 14 deals on the warm list, and let's say our average deal size is $10,000. Well, that means the warm list can generate $140,000 for us. That's only 11% difference, but that generates $110,000 more than the cold calling list. So instead of paying for ads, my personal recommendation is to go through the slower process of building a brand. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and make a video on that though, because I think there's a lot of information or a lot of thoughts and ideas behind it that many people overlook. And oftentimes, and you may say this as well, hey look, I don't have the time to build a brand. I don't wanna be on camera or I wanna do social media. And that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly okay. But in a couple of my videos, we always talk about leverage, right? How do we leverage our weaknesses? And if that's one of our weaknesses, we can absolutely leverage it. And in that video, I'll go ahead and show you some free ways that you can leverage a lot of these things to start to build your brand. And then over time, as it grows, if we wanted to, I'll show you some very cost-efficient, let's put it that way, cost-efficient ways to leverage it out to maybe teams or individuals that can then go and grow that for you as well. But before I go and make that video, YouTube definitely thinks that you should watch one of these videos over here. So go ahead and click on that and then go ahead and hit the like on the way out as well.